let's talk about some low-cost options for this. The one thing I'll also preface here is I'm happy to jump into some mic configurations, and that might be beneficial for our time together today. If you guys have questions about, well, where do I place my microphones and stuff like that, based on some of the ones we're talking about. Low-cost options. We're talking about options we're totaling between $100 and $200. Okay, we're going to start out with some simple microphones here. So, like I said, if you're miking a choir, you're going to want to mic them with something like a condenser microphone. Now, you don't have to have two of these. Two is ideal, because if you've got singers on the left side, you've got singers on the right side, well, now you can mic both sides. If you're someone who has a quartet, well, put the microphone in between two on one side, put it in between two on the other. If you only have budget for one microphone and it's a condenser microphone, well, put it between all four of them, but they're going to have to be spread out. Or maybe you do sort of a circular configuration or semicircle, socially distanced, all those kinds of things as well, when you're actually miking your quartet or your choir. But there's several configurations. Let's talk about some options between $100 and $200. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up. Let's pull up Amazon here. I went ahead and found a few things for you guys. All right. And again, if you're joining us on Facebook, most of us are over on Zoom. But if you're on Facebook, you have some questions, leave that in the chat box. Happy to answer those. Typically only provide these kinds of tutorials for our fantastic Music Director Pro community, but just felt led to put it out there for a lot of you guys to benefit from today, knowing we're in a challenging season and we need some help with some of this stuff. All right, so I'm on Amazon here. And I'm not an affiliate for any of these products, although I should be. I recommend them enough, I'll tell you that. I just did a quick search here. Now, this was for USB mics. You can use USB mics. Some of you have heard me talk about the USB microphone, the Yeti, which is a really popular one, and I know some of you guys have it. The way USB microphones work is they essentially just plug into your computer with a USB cable. And so the computer recognizes it as a mic source, even though it's plugged in via USB. As a condenser, most of these are condenser microphones, if not all of them. I think they're all condensers. But the Yeti is a great budget-friendly one. They just came out with a smaller version. I have the larger version. It's around $130. So if you're looking for something, like say you have a quartet that you want to mic, it's not a massive room, but you can be socially distanced. The blue Yeti put in the center of the room and just plugging that into your computer or your iPhone or your iPad would do a great job of picking up the sound in the room. It will definitely be higher quality than just using the built-in microphone with your iPad, your iPhone, your computer, right? You'll notice here too that you can... with this, you get 3 condenser capsules and 4 pickup patterns, meaning you can use pickup pattern like Omni, which is going to capture the whole room. There are other patterns, like say you just want to pick up the sound that's in front of your face and you're singing into a microphone, or maybe your quartet is not in a circular sort of configuration, but they're all facing in a semicircle, that microphone. Well, maybe you want to put it on a different pattern to pick up what the actual sound image looks like. And here's your different patterns. So you've got figure 8 here, which picks up basically anything on either side of the microphone in that same shape, that configuration. Now, I may get some of these wrong, y'all. I'm not well versed in my terminology. I need to go and freshen up. But if I'm not mistaken, that is... I'm going to call it semi-omni, but I know that's not the name for it. So basically, that's picking up things in front of it. You can see how it's shaped. The circular pattern will pick up more of what's in front of the microphone. This is your omni, so it's going to pick up all the sound in the room, both on top and all sides. And then this one, I just can't remember. I'm rarely using that one, but I should research that figure. If somebody knows, just let me know in the comments, because... again, I'm a little ignorant there on my terminology. But something like that, you know, is just $130. And if you don't want to go down the route of USB interface, which I'm going to talk about in just a moment, you don't have to. You can just use a USB condenser. They even have cheaper options for you. Even this guy, the Snowball, the smaller USB Yeti would do a good job in this kind of mic technique. Now, if we just type in like a simple condenser microphone, okay, let's go inexpensive condenser. It's probably not the way to look this up, but we'll see. Well, they do show up. So here are some options for us. When you go down the more inexpensive route, and I've never used any of these in particular, that's why you'd want to rely heavily on the reviews. So something like this, that's a condenser microphone. You see that input? That is XLR, which I was showing you on my microphone, and that's a very standard cable in this world, so it's going to allow you to hook up your microphones to an interface. Well, at a $59 budget, right, that may allow you to get 2 of those, and you can get more room coverage with 2 microphones going into your USB interface as opposed to just 1. 2 is always better than 1 when we're talking about miking something that's as spread out as singers socially distanced in a room. So, you know, typing in something like inexpensive condenser microphone, this Marantz is what it's called. It looks like it's got good reviews. Of course, you can go up in price. And I'm happy to talk about some that I know are just great microphones in just a moment when we get to option 3. But for your low budget needs, something like that would work really well. Now let's talk about how you get those microphones to actually talk to the computer. Okay, so I had mentioned the iRig Pre earlier, right? You could do that, but you can only plug in one with the iRig Pre. You're going to want something like a USB interface, and I know some of you in the community have this. I just picked up one for myself. I wanted an inexpensive thing that I could use here in my home studio, but then also repurpose. Oops, sorry about that. I get the never-ending window. Give me a second. Which is kind of a cool effect, but not right now because I don't need that happening. Okay, so this is the PreSonus Audio Box i2. It has 2 inputs, and you can see here, like there's your 2 XLR inputs, so that would allow you to put 2 microphones in this guy. You can also do instruments, so like you could, in the back of this, you could do your keyboard. You know, like one of our friends in the community here was saying just a minute ago, you could do a Y splitter. Similar to this. This is not the correct, actually it may be. I've got a Y splitter. Sorry, it's loud. A Y splitter somewhere just to show you what that looks like, because that could be a good option for you if, say, because you're maxed out at 2 inputs here, right? I can only plug in 2 mics or maybe an instrument and a microphone. So if I split it, well, now I would be able to get 2 microphones here and then my instrument here. Now, if you're using an acoustic piano and you've got condenser microphones, I rarely find the need to have to mic the piano separately, unless you just want maximum control and you have the budget to purchase an interface that can do it. And you can purchase them that do that, and I've got one behind me I'll share with you in just a moment. But the Audio Box i2 runs you about $149. You get 2 inputs, your volume, your gain controls there. You could split this off to do 2 microphones and then also do, you know, your instrument there. Let me show you what the splitter looks like. Again, if I can locate it, should be here. I got all kinds of cables here, my friends, all kinds of cables, and just have started straightening up some of this, but apparently can't keep up with my splitter. You know what? We've got Amazon cracked open here, so let's take a look at Amazon and see what they have to offer here in the world of splitters, and I'll also show you the Audio Box. Let's start with splitters. So XLR splitter. Oh, XLR. Still came up, but splitter cable. Come on, Chris. It's like I can't type. XLR Oh, it's changing it. I don't like it when it does that. But you can pick up your XLR cables if you don't have them. You're going to need one or two, depending on how many mics you get. But the splitters we're talking about here, something like this. So this would be one that would work for those microphones. You're going to see, I think this is the male side, the female side. That's just what they do, the terminology on these cables. You've got the male ends here, and then you've got the female end there. So basically 2 males to 1 female, and that's going to connect to your USB interface, allow you to split if you want. That's an XLR splitter. Something like the Audio Box I2. That's the one I have. This one runs you about $149. So at least that's what I paid, or $159 for just the box. Now you can get these already bundled. Now this goes above our price range in the low cost options if you get a bundle. But if you only, like say you take an inventory and you've got 2 microphones you can use, and you only need the interface, we'll go for something like the Audio Box i2. That's a great box for $159, and I bet your local music store has it. I just picked mine up at Ken Stanton down the street because it was there and convenient, and it was the same price as Amazon. So that's a great little box. Another good one is the Scarlett 2i2. I think it's a little pricier, but it's a good one. Actually, it's the same price. It's the exact same price. And it gives you the same amount of flexibility. Maybe even better to go with this one because I think it's USB-C as opposed to USB 2.0. So it may be a little faster, but you're not going to really notice that. All right, so that's 2 options for you. You've got the PreSonus and you've got the Scarlett. Happy to, jump in the community too and reiterate some of those options for you. If you guys remind me in the forum, I can do that. Okay, so those are 2 great budget-friendly interfaces. Let's pause for just a second because I do want to dive into some more options that are going to give you higher quality and perhaps even share some layouts for your room. But let me jump in the chat box here and kind of see where you guys are. Oh my gosh, I got it going on again. Ay, ay, ay. Sorry about that. I gotta remember that. So here we are in the chats. Let's see what questions you guys have. All right, so we did the Deborah. We talked about the PreSonus interface again. What sort of mic do you recommend for those 4 choir mics? If you are doing specific condenser mics, we're going to get into those in just a moment because you're going to be talking a little higher budget. So I'll share those with you in option 3 as we talk about higher quality, bigger budget, but not break the bank budget. Hybrid rehearsal, wondering if visual for Zoom. All right, we talked about that. Let us see. I got to zoom down a little bit. Here we go. Daryl says, Chris, while there is no shortage of inexpensive condenser microphones, Behringer C2 pair of mics, $49 at Sweetwater. That's a good one. Cardioid. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. So Daryl shares with us the C2, and let's take his recommendation on that. That's a pair. That C2 pair of mics, $49 at Sweetwater. Sweetwater is a very reputable music company, and Behringer is a very reputable name in the business. So there you go. C2 pair of condensers for $49. There's your budget-friendly options. And to echo back up here, I believe it was it you, Kathy? No, Deborah was talking about microphones. If you want to do 4 mic setups, get you 4 of those. Get 4 of those. That's inexpensive. You could do splitters on something like the i2 or the Scarlett that I just showed you. That's that inexpensive $149 interface. Do splitters on it, and now you've got 4 microphones. If you want to elevate that, then you're going to need and have more control. You're going to need a larger interface, and you can do that. They go up, by channels. If you want to add 2 more channels to that interface, well, you're going to add another $100. If you want to add 4 more channels to that, add another $150 or $200. So it's the same interface with preamps that just make the sound warmer and better, push the gain structure so your people are going to have a more pleasant experience. It's on all of those devices, but you're just looking at purchasing a larger interface that has more channels. And something like the C2 pair of mics will work for budget friendly. That's great. Any interface recommendations for PCs? These will all work for PC, Kathy. So PC and Mac. The interface, at least let me double check that. Check the box. Let's see. You know they normally have like will work for Mac and all that. I mean, I don't think you'll have any issue, but I don't want to say that and then you have an issue. So always double check. But there you go. See there at the top. Well, you can't see that. There it is. PC and Mac, and you're going to find that for most of these audio boxes, these little interfaces like this, they're going to work because PreSonus and Scarlett and all those companies, they make it to work with all those computers so they can sell more of them to you and help you out. Daryl, you have it backwards, female. Okay, I never get that one right either, Daryl. So Daryl's talking about the splitter. So I have always looked at the bigger end as the male, but it's the pins. So the pins, so it was reverse. You're going to need 2 female to 1 male. Okay, 2 female to 1 male. If you need me to clarify, just let me know in the chat box. I can do that. But it's pretty easy there. Just, you know, go back once you get this video and see the exact thing I pulled up in Amazon, and there's your splitters. Okay, so seeing no other questions right now, let's jump into just some higher quality pieces of gear that you can use to help you basically provide a better audio experience for your singers. Now, if you're talking about...